What's up, guys? It's the Brick Public back here again with another video. Today we are doing the first episode of many in the Decal series. You guys wanted this in the last video, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a Decal series. This is the first episode, and this is just gonna show you guys tools and things you need to know about decaling. So there's not going to be actual decaling in this video, that's going to be in the next one. But this is the tools you need, the brands of decals you want, and stuff like that. So these are like the main tools you're going to want when decaling. You're going to want a thing to hold water in. These are water slide decals, so you kind of need something to hold the water in. So you're going to want some water, something to hold water in. You're going to want some tweezers. You're going to want a knife, or not a knife, a X-Acto knife, and you're going to want a cutting board to cut the decal on. You're going to want cutting board. Like, all this stuff is like the main stuff you need for beginning to decal. Main tools. There's also some other tools that I would recommend you using if you've been decaling for a little bit, because these are not for beginners. These are for people that have done decals like quite a bit, and that's Microset and Microset and Microsol. These are like chemicals that are very important if you're gonna want to use decals, because it makes them easier to align and makes them easier to move. The set you apply to the figure, like the blank figure that you want to decal, and it makes it easier to move around and stuff. And Microsol is good for getting, like, if you have wrinkles in the decals, this is good for like getting rid of them or making them very minimum. So there are a few types of helmets that you can decal. That includes like the Phase 2 helmets, the Phase 2 pilot helmet, the Phase 1 helmets, and just so on. Like, there's also Mando helmets you can decal, and even Stormtrooper helmets. If you were gonna start off with decaling, I would definitely recommend the Phase 2 helmet, because that is the best for beginners. And yeah, those are the helmets, like the main helmets that you want to use. There are many different decal companies that you can choose from. I'm just gonna show off a few that I like, that I buy from the most, and which ones are like the easiest and the hardest. Jonak Toys is a really good one if you want to start off. It is probably one of the most, if not the most simple decals that are sold, and they're very easy to do, and yeah, they're just easy to do. They're not expensive. They're like $1 per decal. But if you were going to decal, I would recommend getting two of, like, the person you want to decal. Like, I would recommend you getting 2 ARC Trooper 5s, because if you mess up, you'll have a extra one to replace it. The second company is Bricky. Bricky is good. It's also good for beginners, but it also has arm decals, and Bricky just sells a lot more variety compared to Jonak Toys. So if you were going to start off, I would recommend Bricky, because they are actually some of the best decal sellers like in the community right now. And the last decals are definitely more difficult if you want to get into them. AV figures right here. AV figures are a lot more difficult because they have full 360 wraparound decals. I'll show you right here. Like the full 360 wraparound decals, which is more difficult than the average just front and back, like the normal. So in the series, I will be focusing around the, not thicky bricky, but the 180 decals. So but basically just look like this. Like, it's not super detailed, but it's still amazing looking. And we're not going to be doing a 360 figure, but this, if you want to do a 360 figure at the end of the series, then go for it. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can about decaling. Yeah. So, those are the decals. You're going to want a blank figure, like a blank torso, right here, blank torso, some blank legs as well, and a hip. The hip is difficult, to say the least, because when you have, let's see here, you got the hip, when it touches a leg, like right here, if you attach it, you'll see that the hip is rubbing, or like, it's touching the leg. And you don't want that to happen, because what will happen is when you move the legs of your figure, the decal will scrape off. So if you can see on some of my figures, I have the hips like carved, so the decal will not scrape off when I move the legs. How do you do that, you ask? Well, you're going to need two tools. So yeah, the two tools you're going to need are, for carving hips, you're going to need a Citadel mold line remover. It is a cheap way to carve hips, but I really wouldn't recommend this unless you absolutely do not want to spend a few extra bucks on the next method, because when you scrape the hips, like here, when you scrape the hips, you do this. You just do a back and forth motion, like, not super hard, but like back and forth motion, and over time it will get that, it will start like carving it, and it will get rid of some of the plastic. But if you're not super careful, you might accidentally slip and hit yourself. It's not super hard, like I can press down on it and it won't cut me. It's not cut material, but if it would hurt if you like swung it really fast and it hit your finger. That would really hurt. So the other method that I use is like a lot easier. This is a, what is it called? This is like a nail, like fake nail sandpaper thing. I don't remember what it's called, but it has these little sandpaper tips, and it's portable. It also comes like with a plug-in and stuff. You can see right here, this is the charging thing, not the charging thing, the thing that shows what power it's at. So you would turn it on, and this thing would spin very quickly, and what you would do is you would put it at the hip right there, and then slowly move it from side to side and down, and the sandpaper will start sanding away the hip. And this one is, I think, a lot less painful than the other one, and it takes less time and it's a lot quicker. It's more expensive, but I would say it's definitely worth it. And I'm just gonna move that out of the way. Forgot to mention, the Microsol and Microset, you're going to want a paintbrush to apply it on. You're going to want, just a paintbrush. So what you would do is apply the Microset, paint it on the surface of the helmet or whatever you're decaling, and then you would apply the decal. I think that just about covers everything that we need starting off. There will be a few extra tools and whatnot that I haven't mentioned later, but for now, this is what you want. Like, this is the basic setup for decaling. We're gonna need some sealant later, but that's for the towards the end of the decaling process. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe because it would help me out. Ring the notification bell if you want to be the first one to see the next video come out. Episode 2 will be decaling the helmets. And yeah, comment down below suggestions on my upgrading Lego figure series, because I always love to do those. And yeah, sorry if this video was kind of long. These types of videos tend to be. I tried to make it not super long. I tried to get to the point as much as possible. But yeah, thank you all for watching and have a great day.